Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Finding the Solution. This is a momentous day for me. You know, the charity is up and running now. We have a GoFundMe page. We're very close to sending letters into schools to do some fundraising and to going out there and helping lots and lots of kids within the community. Feel free to join us on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. It's finding_the_solution. Any donation is welcome, guys. Every donation will have an impact on a child's life. That's as simple as that. Yeah, so also I'd like to introduce you to Garson. He's the beautiful creature that you've seen at the beginning of this episode. There's a picture of me and Garson. Garson is my guide dog. I've had Garson for about 4 or 5 months. Amazing, wonderful creature. You know, I didn't realise how much independence was slipping away until Garson come into my life, and I realised by pushing the boat out and doing new things with Garson, how crafty your mind can be and your brain can be. You know, I was doing lots of short journeys, a bus trip somewhere, and then a bus back home, and the travel in between wasn't very far. But with the dog by my side, we get to push ourselves. So over the next coming months, you will get to meet Garson on a better level. We may even do a little bit of him on a podcast. Where is the charity at today? Let's talk a little bit about the charity. You know, we have now got flyers, we have business cards, the social media's up and running. The first podcast is out. I have already approached a couple of schools. I've approached a couple of organisations. And it's picking up speed. It's funny because it blows me away on a daily basis to think I can have an impact on other people's lives. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Very, very grateful. You know, that I've got people around me who are doing stuff for free, helping me do the technical side, helping me do flyers and run stuff in the background. I've got beautiful people alongside me. This is not a one-man show, and it never will be. I hopefully want to inspire others to take this idea and run with it in other cities. Welcome to Finding the Solution. Also today, guys, I am going to introduce you to a couple of people, or maybe I'm not going to introduce you, they're going to introduce themselves, but very inspirational people who have inspired me along my journey. And that's the only people I want on this. I want people who have inspired me or people who inspire others. I think there's so much negative energy thrown around, and I'm going to give you a big ball of positivity, mate, on each podcast, hopefully. I'm going to send that huge big ball of positivity your way by introducing you to some of these wonderful people. I do honestly believe that AI is riddled in everything we do it today. Artificial intelligence, not for me. I'm not saying don't use it, but I'm going to introduce you to AI. And that's inspirational interviews. And that's people who inspire me, but inspire others. And inspire lots of people around them. And that's what it's about, isn't it, guys? It's about inspiring people, I think. Hello, everybody. My name's Ray Clements, and I want to introduce you to my first guest on Finding the Solution, which is Katheryn Fielding. Welcome to the podcast, Katheryn.
Thank you.
We'll just start off by maybe telling people where I met you.
It was a sports hall in Liverpool. It was a British Blind Sport Have a Go Day. So, as the name implies, it was an event for blind and partially sighted people to come along and try sport. I was there delivering Goalball. You had a go. I managed to, kind of charm you a little bit, and you fell in love with the sport. And in the nicest possible way, I've not got rid of you since.
No, yes. I don't think you're getting rid of me either, to be honest. What Katheryn's not telling everyone is the hard work she does in the background to do with Goalball. You know, she introduced me to the sport and many others on that day. And from the first go, I was like, wow, this is cool. There was other sports there that day. There was baseball, archery. Archery freaked me out. I thought blind people doing archery is a bit crazy, but Goalball really got hold of me straight away, and I think it was the way you delivered the session as well. But yeah, tell people what Goalball is, please, if you don't mind. I'd much rather it come from Katherine. She explains it a lot better than me. I tend to bring the visual impaired side. You bring the Goalball side.
Yeah, well, let's start with that then. So goalball is a Paralympic sport for visually impaired people, but that's only at the very highest level. Goalball's an inclusive sport, so below Paralympic level. So in all our clubs and competitions, you can play as a sighted player, because the key thing is everyone wears eye shades. So visual impairment's a spectrum. It's not a case of see everything, see nothing. So what we do is everyone wears eye shades so that in a goalball scenario, people don't see anything. And that just makes it fair. So because you're not using sight, we then utilise the other senses. And this is something that happens in other blind sports as well. So we use an audible ball. So instead of seeing the ball, you hear the ball. So you're tracking it by sound rather than sight. And then the court is tactile. So if you think of a typical sports hall, there's a multitude of different coloured lines that mean different things in different sports. For us, those lines are irrelevant. People can't see them with their eye shades on.
It's a netball court equivalent, isn't it?
It's a volleyball court, so it's 18 metres by 9. So goalball itself is a 3-a-side game, and it's non-invasive. So essentially, your team of 3 stays in your 9 by 9 square, and the other team of 3 is in the other 9 by 9 square, but you're playing collectively on a court which is 18 by 9. The goal is the full 9 metre width. So if you think 5-a-side football goal, stretch it out. It means all 3 players defend as well as all 3 players attacking. As I said, it's non-invasive, so it's the ball that travels backwards and forwards. It sounds nice and sedentary, and isn't this fun? But the reality is, at elite level, the ball's moving 40, 50 miles per hour. It's 1.25 kilograms, so a bit like a basketball, but heavier. And it's mad in a good way. The ball has to travel on the floor, so you can hear the sound. And then you have to be, we say it's a bit like doing burpees on repeat. You defend on the ground because that's where the ball is. So you use your body as a barrier. So you stretch out to block the ball. And then to throw, you transfer to your feet. And then it's a bit of a running bowling action. As I said, to get that speed, you need to have the footwork. So, fast, furious, great fun.
As you said, it's all inclusive though, isn't it? So I play for a team called the Mersey Sharks, and we have individuals in that team who are fully sighted, people who are aiding other people who are coming in and just wanted to help out, and all of a sudden they're playing the game. And we also have a couple of youngsters in our team, 110, 112, so it is really all-inclusive, isn't it, as a sport? Yeah,
I mean, sight loss can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So from an age point of view, we're a bit different to other sports in that we don't have this regimented, these are your boys' teams from under 5 to open age, these are your girls' teams. So we play mixed gender and mixed age. We have to keep it safe. There are levels within that, but you can have someone who is maybe 35 who lost their sight 2 years ago, but they're playing against someone who might be 12, but they've been blind since birth, so their sight loss age is 12. We are inclusive, but we have to be kind of honest about it and say if you are a power chair user, or if you're profoundly deaf, you're not going to be able to play the sport competitively. We can get you involved for a taster for fun, but the nature of the sport is you're going to struggle because of the physical element of it and also because of the hearing. But, if you've just got a moderate hearing impairment or a moderate physical impairment or, moderate learning disability, there's no reason why you cannot play goalball. It is, for everyone in that sense.
See, for me, it's the other side for me, it's the freedom that it gives me. When I first lost my sight a couple of years back, I felt like I was lost. And then when you put shades on somebody and put them on a court, and then all of a sudden you've got to communicate together, it's massive, that, isn't it, in VI sports, the communication. And then the camaraderie, and you don't feel alone very quickly. I think that goalball is a wonderful, wonderful sport to really allow people to feel free.
It's more than a sport, isn't it? We're a community. So, the visually impaired community is quite isolated. So goalball brings people together, and it's not just the person with the visual impairment. It brings together partners and parents, for them to interact and kind of share some of the challenges and the solutions. In terms of being on the court, people enjoy the freedom. So don't get me wrong, it can be a bit intimidating initially to put the eye shades on. If you have got what we class as a little bit of useful vision, to take that away can be, oh wow, what's going on here? But equally, people find it quite liberating because they're spending their day-to-day life struggling to use what little bit of sight they've got. And in Goalball, we say, actually, and I won't swear, we'll just say kind of sod it, I don't have to worry about trying to use this bit of sight. I'm just going to use my other senses. So it's quite liberating in that respect. And it's obviously a safe space to play in, as it's sport. You'll get the odd injury, but there's nothing dangerous to it in that respect. It's the playing environment is based around the visual impairment. It's tactile. We use audible cues, so the sport flows.
As you've just mentioned there, it's vulnerable, but it's vulnerable in a safe space, and I think. Yeah. I think it sounds like a pun, but it's an eye opener, isn't it, for someone who's visually impaired, and especially if I'm playing with a guy now who'd not long had a stroke, and he's only lost his sight about 6-7 months. Yeah. Very quickly, you watch the people change, don't you? You see the people sort of grab back hold of life, really start to go, right, okay, I can be part of this. For me, the one of the best moments in Goalball would probably be getting hit in the face with the ball. I know that might sound stupid to a lot of people, but it really sort of shocked me into that I'm okay. It shocked me into I'm part of life.
It's a little bit rite of passage to get hit in the face, or for fellas downstairs when you play Goalball. It happens once and you tend to learn how to defend. But I think the kind of what we class as the off-court side of Goalball is really important. So it makes people communicate, it makes people confident, it makes people independent. There's a lot of informal kind of role modelling that goes on. People will, meet other people in Goalball who are, busy with a career or a volunteering project or have got a family, and it kind of shows you that, just because you're visually impaired, life can still be whatever you want life to be. So it's powerful in that respect.
So what's your, because obviously I've opened the charity Finding the Solution, and I'm looking at taking this into schools, and I know you're coming to watch our session next week. What do you think the importance is? Because for me, when I started to lose my sight, I really sort of straight away thought, I want children who are visually impaired to be able to grab hold of this sport at a lot earlier age. And I'm seeing lots and lots of youngsters coming to the sessions now, and it's some sighted, some not, some suffering with ADHD, different levels. But watching them grow within Goalball, I don't know if we really understand how special Goalball is.
We talk a lot about empowerment, and if you have a visual impairment, often you're either excluded full stop from PE at school, or in the community, just although no, you can't do that. Rather than trying to find a solution and adapt to sport. Or we've got people who are almost scarred from having taken part in sport and being physically or emotionally hurt by it. They've been that kid at school that gets bullied when they're playing PE, or gets told the crap and you can't do this. And, for Goalball, people come and they achieve. And we don't put it on a plate, because I think that's the other side of it as well. Now, there's probably, in a school environment, a lot of cotton wool with visually impaired children. We live in a world of risk assessments and having to play it safe. And, there's a lot of stuff they don't do, or they do it in this bubble of their teaching assistant. Whereas a Goalball court, going back to keeping it safe, we invite children in and we get them moving independent and not having to hold hands with their TA or use their cane. So it's just that freedom really of movement and of thought and decision making, and then flipping it around to the sighted children. For them, it's a little bit of empathy. It's that realization. Wow, this is the world that my friends living in, and it makes them then a bit more considerate, I think. And
I think it smashes barriers, doesn't it? When you watch a class full of children doing Goalball. As you said, we have the loud children, we have the quiet children, you have the dead confident children. But it's a leveler for me, Goalball, because it's everybody's the same vulnerability in a safe space. But the other big thing for me is it teaches them to communicate again.
Yeah.
A lot of children only use their phones or their iPads or whatever device they have. They tend not to talk to a child next to them. I think in Goalball, one of the biggest lessons I learned very quickly was I have to learn to communicate with my fellows. And I mean, I still forget sometimes on a court, and you'd have another player tell you, you're going to have to tell me where the ball's coming from, and you go like, oh God, I forgot. But you have to learn the names of their teammates.
Yeah. So first and foremost, it's a team sport. So any team sports, you need to have that team element, don't you? That interaction. But then the added side of Goalball is you cannot see what is happening. So you need to hear what's happening. So you need to communicate with your, players on court. But then equally, you're listening to the coach. You're listening for the referee, because the referee, in a way, is kind of commentating on the game for you. So again, going back to focus with children, it helps with that. They need to learn to listen and then to apply information at the right time. And that's what happens in Goalball. If you're not listening, you're going to get that Goalball hitting your nose. So it's just it helps with the concentration.
One of my best moments. So I know you're going to come to the session next week. I would love to have you on the next month's podcast to talk around that stuff and stuff you're doing in the background. What a lot of people probably don't know is you as the GB ladies coach as well, and you also run a team as well. And you're very, very prominent within the sport of Goalball in helping others. And I'd like you to talk a little bit more about that on the next one. Yep. What we're going to do is we're going to show the video of Goalball after this, to give people maybe a little understanding of what it's about. But yeah, what does Goalball mean to you before we leave it? And first of all, thank you for today, because you're inspirational. And, these interviews are good. I often say to people, there's AI out there, everybody's AI. These are going to be II, which is inspirational interviews. And you're one of the people that inspired me to play Goalball, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. You need enthusiastic participants. I can try and persuade people as much as possible, but you need people to literally cross that line and be bold enough to give it a go. And I can be confident in saying that most people that try the sport do like the sport, but you've got to be bold enough to have a go, which you did. So yeah. So I mean, Goalball for me, it sounds a bit cheesy, but Goalball's my life. It's like it's just it's my professional life, but personally I've got lots of ties as well. So my kind of day-to-day job is working for Goalball UK, which is the national governing body. So a bit like you got the FA for football or ECB for cricket. So we look after every aspect of the sport, top to bottom, left to right, inside to outside. So you name it, we're there. We're a very small team covering the UK. And then within that, I do club development, coach development, taste sessions in the school environment. I'll do corporate events, a lot of outreach, just raising awareness of the sport. But then kind of as Katheryn, rather than as Katheryn from Goalball UK, I'm the West Yorkshire coach. So I've got my own club. And we try and do more than just Goalball as well. Yeah. So, we will go and do social events, and we did a bit of a fun sports day on Sunday. We're playing cricket and football and other silly games, and we'll go temping bowling. It's just that interaction. And I've always been very sporty. So I think it's just, I want people to be able to play sport without getting too deep and meaningful. I face barriers.
Oh, no, feel free to go deep and mean, and that's what it's about. So just before we leave today, how could somebody get involved in Goalball, whether they be sighted or visually impaired?
Probably the best way, the most simplest way, is we've got a Get Involved form, which I can share the link for. And that is basically just knowing what your starting point is, because it may be you're a teacher in a school that's looking to introduce it to kids. You may be a visually impaired adult in the community that wants to play. You may be a local sports coach that wants to get some CPD. You may want to come and volunteer at a tournament. So there's a role for everybody. Like every sport, we need people to make it happen. So just let us know kind of who you are, where you are, and then we can signpost to the right opportunity.
So I would just finish with, if anybody's interested in getting into Goalball, take that advice, grab hold of it, go and help. There's some amazing people in the background in Goalball, and it's a wonderful sport. But I'd like to thank you for today, Katheryn Fielding, and amazing stuff, and we'll speak on next month's one.
No worries.
Thank you.
Introducing Goalball, the thrilling and inclusive team sport captivating hearts and minds globally. Goalball is a unique Paralympic sport designed for blind and partially sighted people. Played on a tactile court, players wear eye shades and rely on their senses of hearing and touch to compete. It's an exhilarating team game where the objective is to score goals by throwing a bell-filled ball into the opponent's net while defending your own. That's where Goalball UK comes in. We are the driving force behind promoting and growing this remarkable sport right here in the UK. Our mission is to create opportunities for everyone, regardless of age or ability, to play goalball and experience the joy and companionship the sport brings. Goalball UK is calling on you to get involved. Whether you want to play, coach, volunteer, become a fan, or support the cause, there's a place for you in our incredible community. You'll discover a sport that breaks down barriers, builds friendships, and fosters a true sense of belonging. Visit goalballuk.com to find out how you can become part of this inspiring movement.
So welcome to today's interview. I call these IIs. We have AI in the background, but I like to call them IIs, which is inspirational interviews. And today we have Craig Luttman, who is my mentor. Would you like to introduce yourself, Craig?
Yeah, hi everyone. So Ray says I'm his mentor. Sometimes I think it's the other way around. It feels like we help each other on this journey sometimes. But all testament to Ray. So Craig Luttman from Lloyds Living. Been at Lloyds Living for 4 years. Lloyds Living is part of the wider Lloyds banking group.
Cool. What Craig's not really telling you is how much help he's given me in the background. You know, I've been through a process of changing lives within Crisis UK, and they put me in touch with Craig. I spoke about you the other day in a inspirational day on Crisis, and somebody asked me to explain what you are to me. And I said it's like having a really clever friend.
I've never been described as that before, so I'll take that one.
But you also bring much more. The big one I took from you very early on was you taught me to pause. You taught me to just slow down and stop.
Yeah.
Which has been invaluable for me. In the sense that, you know, I've opened this charity, Finding the Solution, and straight away your mind and your head tells you that you can change the world overnight. And very quickly, I think with your help, I realised that we had to slow down, put it into steps, and we've done lots of work around this stuff in the background. And you're a continuous help for me. I don't know if you really understand how much, but you're like that shoulder to lean on for me. You bring a lot of knowledge. I know you're doing stuff around housing yourself in London and through Lloyds. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and thanks, Ray. It's nice to hear that feedback. Really appreciate it. So from quick story in terms of what we're doing within Lloyds Living and then the wider Lloyds business at the moment when it comes to housing. So Lloyds Living is relatively new business within Lloyds. So it's been around for 4 years, like I say, focused on providing really good quality, affordable private rental homes. And then we've moved from private rental into what we call pathways, which is helping renters into home ownership. So people renting from us can now start to buy those properties on a shared ownership basis. And hot off the press, as of 1st of May, we are now set up as a housing association to do affordable shared ownership homes. So those kind of spectrum between renting into home ownership and then affordable home ownership, all coming from that kind of place of actually, as a wider Lloyds Bank initiative, how do we help more people get on the housing ladder? How do you broaden access to home ownership? But equally, and at its core, how do you give people a good quality, safe, affordable home? And that's something we've spoken about, Ray, previously, which is kind of, you know, your journey absolutely speaks to that. So then probably rewinding a couple of years with Charlie Nunn, starting the initiative with Crisis around the call for 1 million new social homes. There's a load of work that we've been doing across group that really is trying to find the solution. So in the same way, Ray, you're finding your own solution, finding your journey, supporting others from a Lloyds perspective, we're trying to do the same. So this is Lloyds kind of either directly getting involved or also, as importantly, convening, working with others. How do we support others do more, whether it's the, small, medium house builders, how do they get going? How do they deliver the homes all the way through to the big housing associations and that whole spectrum between, anyone connected with housing. Lloyds is trying to support and find new ways to deliver the homes that we all need.
I think it's really, really important as well, even when you look at Lloyds as a massive bank, sort of using lived experience and getting involved in Crisis UK to really get to the core and the fundamentals of what can be done better, what can be changed, and how we make the process much easier for people on that journey, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's we can talk. I think we're going to follow up session in a month or so.
Yeah,
time we can go into a bit of a deeper dive on that. But it kind of everyone kind of gets it. The stats speak for themselves. Everyone's always horrified when it kind of brings to life. But equally, I think also the kind of the arguments why people get it. If you invest in homes, the benefit that has for the NHS, the benefit that has for education, the benefit that has for kind of UK PLC in terms of like just the economy. Everything benefits from having that safe home.
Yeah, everything grows. So we're just going to dive quick into something. You've asked me to do something on the 17th of this month. I just said yes. I mean, somebody asked me to talk, and obviously I'm really shy, so I thought, you know what, why not?
Why not?
But I think, for me, my part is I just want to be in that room where you can influence and make change on people who are doing the other side of the process.
And it's going to be really, really brilliant to hear from you. And to say we're a new business. We've gone from 0 homes to now 4,000 homes, and everyone's busy in their day job. Everyone's working really, really hard across the whole business in terms of supporting that growth and ambition of us and within Lloyds. But actually, that step back in terms of what it means, what's the impact of us doing this stuff. And it is really interesting. So I think the beauty of our business is that we've got a real mixed bag of people that have come from the bank and people that have come from real estate and property, and all those things working together. And actually, we say this in the business all the time, get to site, go and see the properties. And the bit that everyone really starts shining about is when you hear those customer stories. You hear about the difference that a Lloyd's home has made. You hear about the difference actually helping someone get on the housing ladder has made. The stuff that we can do to support people is brilliant. So actually, to have you speaking to the business, which you're doing next week for us in Manchester, as we're growing as our business, it's just going to be really, really. I can see it now. People will really engage. Will really be inspired by your story.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I know
your thing is how you then roll that on as well.
Yeah, as I say, it's important for me for people to understand the impact of what not having a social home has on you, but also the impact that it does. I've had my own social home now for coming up to 16 months, and it's dramatic, the changes around my mental health, around just physical health, around sort of family as well. It takes a lot of worry away, but the impact on my whole journey has been profound. It's funny, isn't it? Because now I'm focusing on running a charity podcast and taking sports into schools, when I look back to 16 months ago and all I was focusing on was surviving. I was in that fight or flight mode, and now I can really look at living life. And I think the impact of a social home is sometimes underestimated on the impact it has on society as a whole.
Yeah. And for me, again, without being too twee about these things, that security, a sense of place, a sense of home, a sense of belonging, and you make connections. So you've been there 16 months now, so you know your neighbours, you know your route to work, you know your route to schools, you know your route to local community, whatever it may be. That stuff is so important, because it's then you make your connections, and kids know they can go to the same school, and you haven't got to worry about necessarily the landlord kicking you out in 6 months' time and having to relocate. You know your bus journey to work, all those things that you kind of other people take for granted, that you don't see when you're kind of in that position where you don't know where you're going to be living in 3 months' time, let alone 3 days' time.
Yeah, as I say, I think we'll delve into that, because I could talk around the impact, and I can talk around, as you said, just having neighbours, but being able to close my front door behind me is something very, very special.
Yeah.
Sitting in the home, I'm doing this podcast from my home, which is just amazing when you think 2 years ago I was in temporary accommodation. But that's part of my journey, and I think the whole point of doing this podcast and speaking to inspirational people and people on my journey is to inspire other people to pick the reins up, keep fighting, and there is light at the end of that tunnel, and I think we can really we can hold the hand along the dark bits of the tunnel, maybe. But I'm looking forward to the 17th tremendously. I'd like to thank you for today and the interview. I'm sure next month we're going to go a lot deeper, and people may switch off after about 50 minutes, maybe. but yes, thank you so much, Craig, for
pleasure as always.
Everything, though. I mean, it's I often say this, but your time, your journey, your patience, your understanding, and also your compassion and your empathy. I said one thing to you when we very first started working together, and it was, if you don't be truthful and you don't be honest with me, I can't work with you.
Yeah.
And I think we have that from day one, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It shows the gap between societies and people is just people talking about the gap.
Yeah, and that's a two-way street, because I can only do this if you're open with me and honest with me.
Yeah.
So that's how I think we've worked well together.
Cool. Well, listen, I'd like to wish you the most amazing, wonderful day. Go and love life. Go and smile at the world and watch the world smile back. And I will see you on the 17th.
Yeah, look forward to it.
See you, but I will definitely hear you. Thank you so much,
everyone.
Craig Luttman. Thank you. So you've met a couple of people today on this podcast, and I hope they inspired you the same way they inspired me. But I've lined up some others as well. I mean, you will get to know these people. It won't be just one quick short interview. It'll be a couple of different interviews around different stuff, because these people are doing lots of wonderful stuff in the background. But I've already lined up more interviews. And yeah, I've lined up more interviews. I've also put a little song together, but I'm going to talk about that separately. But this is just a wonderful, wonderful chance to give back. Thank you. So, guys, the challenges I'm facing on a daily basis are new, different, can fill me full of fear at any given moment. I spoke with one of the people who I work with, and I said, I keep waiting for someone to say no, that this can't work, but it's up and running now. But it's taught me so much within me, that how I face fear is with courage. I'm doing new things, opening bank accounts. I'm approaching schools. I'm joining entrepreneur courses. I'm going on courses in the background. I'm just reaching out in every avenue I can. And everybody can do this. Everybody can grab hold of life. It's a wonderful, wonderful chance to live another day with a smile on our face. So, guys, what I hope you get from this podcast is an absolutely huge ball of positivity. I often say this, but turn your attitude into gratitude. Another day clean and sober for me. I'm coming up to 3.5 years, but it's one day at a time. But I'm so grateful for life today. I'm so grateful for the people I have around me. People who help me and ask for nothing in return. Family who are there for me. It's just wonderful. And I just want to give a big, massive ball of positivity to each one of you. And hopefully, you grab hold of this stuff and you go and ask somebody else, are they okay? You help somebody cross the road, you open the door for somebody, you say good morning. I will continue to grow on a daily basis, and I would love you to be on this journey with me. So, guys, thank you for another episode of Finding the Solution. Feel free to come, press like, subscribe, do whatever you do. I'm not sure how this really works, I'm not going to lie. If you know any inspirational people who are out there in the community absolutely smashing life and helping others, please feel free to ask them to drop me a line. Yeah, and let's go on this journey. Thank you. Have the most amazing, beautiful, wonderful day. Keep smiling, keep shining. One love.